everyone. Welcome to another live session here on the Old to New channels on YouTube and Facebook. It's me, Lilith, again with some crafty fun on this Thursday. Hi there, Sharon. So today I'm going to be working with some new inks. These are from the Amy Tangerine collaboration collection. I've also pulled out a couple of her stamps and the coordinating dies. And I thought I'd create some fun little cards along with you today. Hi there, Sue. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Dorothy. Thank you so much for popping in. Hi there, Cece. Good evening to you, or good afternoon wherever you are. Here it is starting to get dark. It's 9:30, so there you have it. It's a nice cozy evening. So I hope you all well where you are. Today we've had lots of rain, which is really good because we've had like a really, really long dry period. So we're really happy to have a little bit of rain. And it's also the perfect weather to stay inside and craft a little, or in my case, to correct exam papers. So there we go. Thank you all for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that little share button because we will be picking a lucky winner at the end of the session, and you will be informed then. Hi there, Deirdre. So I'm going to show you some of the products. And I'm going to flip my little screen so that you can see my work surface, and then we can start creating. I will be getting a little bit messy. We'll do a little bit of watercoloring, a little bit of stamping, a little bit of doodling, all the things which I love doing. And I hope to create 3 cards by the end of this little live session. So there you have it. Don't forget to pop in your questions in the comment section or in the chat, and I will try and answer them. But if I miss any, Angel is behind the old to new badge, so you can also wave a little, wave or say hello to Angel, who will be my sidekick for today. Hi there, Betty. Thank you for sharing, Vicky, and thank you for sharing, Helena. So I'm going to pop you down. Let me just see if I can still do this. It's this one, I think. Yay! There we go. You've got my little screen here. Hi, Jane. Hi, Kim. Thank you for sharing, Kim. So here are my little tools I've already popped out that I'll be using today. So I've got the stamp wheel here. So I've taken my enamel dots off because just before I was creating a project where I had to kind of flip it all around and the enamel dots got in the way. So there we go. But you can put your enamel dots on there. Hi, Sharon from South Africa. Where are you in South Africa? I used to live in South Africa. I used to live near Durban, so in KwaZulu-Natal. So I'm super excited to have some sites from South Africa here. Serena, I'm going to be using it very simply today, just because it's super, super practical to keep everything in place. But you will see how I will use it today. I'm just going to maybe flip this to have just a little tiny bit more light. There we go. So, hi, Lynn. Okay, so here are the products, and I should stop saying so now. I'm going to pop my stamp wheel just to the side so I can show you all of the products. There we go. Thank you for sharing, Sue. So these are the Altenew and Amy Tangerine new ink collections. And I love that you can just pop them one on top of the other. And what's really fun about these is that they're really vibrant colors. There we go. Oh, lovely. Lovely to be back. Okay. So these are the colors in there. And what I really love about these colors is the names. They're really fun names. We've got Sweet Cherry, very cool. I like the little pun intended naming here. Tangerine Dream, Peachy Keen, Let Us Celebrate, Tickle Pink, Ride the Wave, Lemonade Stand, Easy Breezy, and Be Grateful. I think these are lovely. OCC, the stamp wheel, you'll be very happy with it. And I've also pulled out the rose gold. Thank you for sharing, Jane. Hi, Barbara. So as you can see, these are really vibrant colors and they're really fun to use. I'm going to show you different ways of how you can use them. And if you're starting with crafting, or if you want to add something to your stash, I think these are a great set just because they're really vibrant, but you can make them lighter. You can use techniques to make them lighter so they will go a really long way. So those are the lovely colors. Okay. And we've also got them in the like smaller ink cubes. We've got the re-inkers. I really like the size of these. They're not too big and not too small. I know, Sue, aren't the names fun? I'm always wondering, how do they come up with all these fun names? Because at a certain point, I think you start to run out. So here are some of the stamp sets. So this one is the Hug Life, which is the one I've been using the most lately. It's got these really fun flowers on it. So here, these are layering stamps or anything. And it's got more of a kind of artsy, journally feel to it, but I think they are great. Then we've got this, the Fresh Start, which has got these really fun little accent elements, a bit like in the doodling, with like the doodling I love doing. And we've got some great sentiments using Amy Tangerine's handwriting, which is stunning. And then we've got this little set. So through the rainbow set, and here you've got this little rainbow elements, but this does go with the coordinating stencil, which I won't be using today. You can see these are really fun and funky kind of sets, and they all come with coordinating dies, which I think is fabulous. There's another one which only has sentiments, but so those are the little stamp set I'm going to be using. So I've already cut out some cardstock to size. And here I'm just going to be using watercolor paper because I will be using quite a few watercolor techniques. And so I thought I'd just go ahead and just use all watercolor paper, even though maybe a little bit later on I will be doing a little bit of doodling, but it will work fine on this as well. So I'm going to start by creating a fun little background, and I was looking for my my little craft palette so that I could mix colors, but I don't know where I put it. I used it a couple of days ago, but then again, this is how things go. Sometimes I think I found the perfect place for something and I can't find it. So I don't have a craft palette here to work on. So I'm going to use a piece of plastic sheet there. This is kind of, I never throw these away. When I get, for example, here you can see with this set, I've got the stamp and I just pop in the coordinating die set. So I always have like leftover plastic sheets. So I kind of keep them. You never know when they will come in handy. And I usually use them at some point. So here I've got my little plastic sheet, which will work as my little craft palette, my little paint palette. So I'm going to create a fun little background here on my card. I'm going to pick out a couple of colors. Hi, Audrey. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Patty. There we go. So I think I'm going to go with Tangerine Dream. I'm going to go with the Sweet Cherry. Those would work well together. And maybe well, there we go, with the Lemonade Stamps. Those are going to work really nicely together. And I'm going to create a fun little background here, really super easy. And you could combine any colors that go well together and that if they blend, don't make a funny brown. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this ink to my plastic sheet, but you could use your palette. I don't know where mine is. I've got two, but I don't have the faintest idea where I put them. There we go. So I'm just going to add this a little bit on here. So I'm just going to, you can see the color on there now. And I'm going to add a little bit of the Tangerine Dream as well. I'm looking very tanned on the screen. You can even see my watch there. There you go. So I've got my 3 colors on there. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Anne, Taylor. So I've got my ink colors on there. You can see them. I might just pop a little bit of white on there. Maybe it will just help you visualize it a bit better. So I've taken out this really flat watercolor brush from Old to New. I don't know in which watercolor brush set it is, but it's fantastic to create like fun striped backgrounds, really fun to use, and it's so soft. There we go. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to my little bowl so that I can just clean my watercolor brush. I've also got a little bit of kitchen roll paper here, just in case things get messy, which they usually do when I'm crafting. Okay. So let's start. Let's just put a couple of things out of the way. So I'm going to add a little bit of water on here. You could do that with your brush. You could also use, this is the fine mister, which I usually use to mist on to paper, but you can just spritz a bit of water on there. It's just a bit easier. There we go. And I'm just going to wet my brush enough, but not too much. And then I'm going to dab that in the darkest shade and then just start like, there we go. And then I'm going to dab into the orange and kind of just blend that in. And you can always go back in or over until you get the desired result. And with the yellow, I'm going to just clean my brush ever so slightly so that I get more of the yellow than of the orange. There we go. You can just kind of just blend that ever so slightly. And if you want to go back in, you can just go back in. I don't need it to be very neat. And if you want to add a bit of the other color to the top, you can. I'm not going to go over the whole page. I just want to create a very subtle look. So I've still got some color on here. So I'm probably just going to mix the orange and the red and just kind of add a couple of splatters just to create my fun little background. There we go. Just pop it in there and give it a good clean. So you could just keep this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create another background with this because I don't want to waste this. Ocean breeze. Oh yes, that's a really good one to have on your list. So I've just spritzed this paper so it's just slightly wet, and I'm just going to pop it on top of on top of my little plastic sheet here. Tickled pink. I know it sounds nice. It's this really vibrant pink. So I'm just going to pop it on there and then just pull it off. And then I can leave this to dry as well, and it will make for a really good background, or could even make flowers out of this once it's dry. So I'm just going to pop that onto my lamp. And then with the rest, I'm just going to clean this off. That way it's done and nothing is messy. There we go. Easy, easy peasy. So I'm going to leave this to dry because we can't work on it while it's wet. So usually what I do is I just pop it onto the slightly on top of my lamps. They're hovering above, they're not on them. So I'm not creating a fire hazard. The paper will warp slightly, so I'm going to just kind of bend it while it's drying a little bit. There we go. Let's just pop it on there. So I've got my background ready. And now I'm going to start working on making some fun embellishments. So let's start doing that. I'm going to pull out, I think I'm going to use the Hug Life set, which has got these great flowers on there. It has some awesome sentiments as well. And I love the different sizes. And once again, I love that kind of brush effect font, which I think is fabulous. So the sentiments on here are Hug Life, Smile Big, Much love. Hey, beautiful. Strive for awesomeness, and follow what feels good. So all kind of uplifting sentiments, feel good, positive sentiments, which is what the whole collection is about. So I'm going to stamp that on my card. This is going to be random stamping because we will cut them out with the coordinating dies. So I'm going to take my stamp wheel just to make it a little bit easier. There we go. So if you haven't seen our latest tool, it's the stamp wheel. Now, several things that I love about it is that it comes with this kind of sticky sheet, so your card shouldn't use, but I think maybe I should give mine a little wipe. I'm going to clean mine a little bit. So I'm just going to spritz some water on there and just kind of wipe it down. So it can lose a little bit of its stickiness because of maybe like dust or little particles that are left over. Usually I just spritz it with a little bit of water and go over it with a microfiber cloth, and then it just starts to feel sticky again, and then it's good to go. There we go. Oh, that's better. Now we won't move. So I'm going to take my little floral elements, and I think I'm just going to, well, I'll use just the florals. There we go. So, and 3 is perfect. Okay. Pop down. So I'm not doing anything special. This isn't any special technique with the stamp wheel. It's just pop it down, pull it up. There we go, and stamp with it. So I'm going to be using, that's me. Pull it off and get your hands all icky. Let's just give that a wipe. So I'm going to be using the sweet cherry, and I think I will do the 2 smaller. And you can see how this size is just perfect for this kind of stamping. The larger ones are a bit big. They kind of get in the way, but the round ones are perfect if you want to add different colors to your stamps and stamp in one go. There we go. So I've got my orange, my tangerine dream, and the sweet cherry. And now I just can flip it back over and give it a good press. And the size is perfect for this. Maybe a slightly bigger one would come in really handy for the kind of bigger stamps as well. And if you have like a bigger sheet and you want to stick it on there and you want to stencil. So here I've got my colors. These are watercolors. So this is watercolor paper. So it's not as crisp as it would be on smooth. But we can always go back in and add some more just to enhance the shade, like so. And you will stamp once again in the perfect position. You can just see how easy that is. Perfect. No hovering, no piece of paper moving around. Just perfect. There we go. Really happy with that. So I'm just going to give these a really quick clean. That way I can pop them away. I'm going to stamp them with a stamp cleaner. Now, these red colors, they do tend to stain the stamps a little bit. This is very normal. It's because it's this kind of red pigment. So your stamp is still ready to use. Don't worry about it. It will just have this kind of reddish tint. So I'm going to put those back on there. They're now nice and clean. There we go. Now you could leave them as such, You could color them in with coloring pencils, but I'm going to show you a really fun watercoloring technique with this. So let's just put my stamp wheel on top. So I'm going to take a smaller watercolor brush. So here I am using the watercolor brush from Old to New with this kind of more rounded tip, and it's number 3. There we go. You can see I've got crafty, inky fingers now. So I'm just going to use a little bit of water. So I'm going to add a bit of water to my watercolor brush, and I'm going to color in my flowers. And what I like doing is I start at the center and then just slightly go over the edge and just pull in a little bit of color, not too much. So I'm just going to continue doing that. And that way you're going to color in. So you're going to add some color to that petal, but it's going to be very subtle, very easy. There's no shading, no nothing. You could add another color if you wanted to, and we will do that a little bit later on, just to tie everything in together with our card. As you can see, you can start in the center or from the top, depending what you want to do. And these colors work perfectly for this technique. Okay, just pull that around. And you don't have to be super neat or nothing, because it's just kind of adding a little bit of water. Do be very careful when you're adding water, not to add too much, because then it will just kind of pool. So what I usually do, I might just show you, is I'll just pop it in there and just kind of push it along the edges to get all the excess water off. And that's enough. Don't want it to be too wet. I'm just going to go over the edges that I missed. There we go. So that's the first one. And the second one over there. And we're going to do the same with the orange. But I am going to add a teeny bit of yellow in there. So let's just take my little piece of acetate, put a little bit of yellow on there for later on. So I'm just going to pull the color out here for the orange. Okay, I think I'm going to just do all the petals first. And what's fun is you still see those center lines. So it's not like you're erasing any of the details. Just adding a bit of color. There we go. And now I'm going to just dab in with a little bit of that yellow and kind of just add that in the center. And you can, this way you will just create a lovely shading. And because I do have yellow on the background, this is going to just be a little fun touch. I think I'm going to add that a bit to the red as well. Let's give it a little bit of extra color and detail. Let's just pick up all that color. There we go. And there we have it. Super easy. I might just go a little bit back in here and just kind of blend everything out a bit. Kind of nearly dry, just a teeny tiny bit wet brush, just to kind of soften the edges a bit of that orange one. Okay, that looks great. Oh, Cynthia, I think that's a very good idea, just to save up for the stamp wheel. It's such a fabulous tool. There we go. So now these do have to dry for a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to, they will dry pretty quickly. They're almost dry. I'm just going to pop them maybe on top of my little lamp. Give my background another little And you can see this one is the one where we picked up the remaining color, how beautiful that background is. And the other one is over here, is already dry, and it looks nice as well. So we've got our two backgrounds to work with. So just dabbing, yeah, those are dry. So I'm going to pull out the coordinating dies, which I've got here. So I've got my flower over here. And this one over there. And I can't find my large flower. Well, we'll have to do the oldie-woldy technique for the small flower, or the larger flower. We're going to have to cut it out with the famous scissors. There we go. So those two I'll cut out a little bit later with my, I don't know where the larger one is. It probably fell out and is in the container where I store my stamps. So I just have to look for that. Let's just do a quick bit of fussy cutting. And I can only do fussy cutting with my big scissors. Thank you for sharing, Barbara. I'm getting so warm underneath all my lamps here. There we go. So that's already cut out. I know it is the first one. It looks so nice and soft and subtle. And I think it'd be great with colors like Ride the Wave, Be Grateful, and maybe a little bit of Tickled Pink. And then you could go with Easy Breezy and the Be Cool and everything. They would look fabulous as well. So I'll put this to one side. And let's just cut these out using our little mini blossom tool here. It will be a lot easier. Hi, Sue. Yes, it is a great day for crafting. Well, I'm happy to be crafting now. I should be correcting papers, but there was a good, like the Facebook Live is a good excuse to come up and craft. So today, like in Belgium, they all have exams in June, end of June. And then they get their report cards next week, and then it's summer vacation. So today was the English exam. So they had a listening comprehension and a reading comprehension and a writing activity. So yeah, and now everything is waiting for me to be corrected. Happy me. I love being a teacher, but I don't like correcting papers. And it's funny because I remember when I was studying to become a teacher and I had my very first teaching session and I had the first papers to grade. I said, oh, this is fabulous. I love grading papers. But I taught for maybe 2 weeks and it was like a super easy test on vocabulary, which was really super easy to grade and to correct. Once I started having several classes and a year long of grading, and then you have writing assignments and projects, well, the correcting was a little bit more tedious. So pop those through our little machine. There we go. I love the little mini blossom. It's the perfect tool. It's always on my desk. I never put that one away. Oh, hi, Cynthia. So we've cut out our little florals there. I think they look fabulous. And I think I'm just going to see on which card they would look best. I like both. I don't know. I'll let you choose. Would you rather go with the kind of more I picked up all the color kind of rescue the paint one, or the kind of more structured painted look. You tell me while I pick out a sentiment. And I think I'm going to go with Hey Beautiful, because everyone should hear that every day. Hi there, Xiomara. Thank you. Left. So this one. That's right for me. Left, this one. Where the flowers are on, or... because I don't know what is your left. Left one, left. Which one is it? The structured one. Okay. Structured one. Let's go with the structured one then. We'll leave that for another project. So here I've got my flowers. So I like using the 3 elements. So I'll probably go with something like that, and then popping the sentiment there. And because all of these colors are the same, I want to go with a really bold statement for my... Oh, don't be sorry, Stacey. I want a really bold statement or sentiment that will pop off the card. So you could go with your black, but I think it might be nice to use, where is it? The rosy gold. The only thing is, I don't know how this looks. So I'm going to kind of do a little test just to see how this rosy gold looks on some cardstock. Now, this won't be colored cardstock, so I won't have a really good idea, but I think it might work, because I do want it to be bold and jump off the page. So if the rosy gold isn't bold enough, the rose gold, it's not rosy gold. So I'm just going to test it a little bit on this. So I'm trying to imagine how this would look on the colored. I think it's really pretty. I think black would look really good as well. But I think I'm going to go with this rose gold, and I might just ink it up twice. No need to be sorry, Tracy. We're playing around with the lovely new inks from the Amy Tangerine collaboration. So there we go. I'm just going to clean this off, and then I can use my stamp wheel for this. So I'm going to go with the rose gold just because it's there, it's new, and I must use it. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment before I pop down my flowers, just to make sure that the sentiment has enough space, and then I'll just work the flowers around the sentiment. But I do have like a general idea where I want it. So I think I'm just going to take a little pencil. Where is my pencil? Okay, I'll just take one of these. Okay, I'm looking for a pencil. Okay, let's just take this one. So I can just pop down a little line where I want my L. Okay, ever so slightly. I want my L there, that one. So I'm going to pop this back onto my stamp wheel. I don't think it will stay in place this time because it's a bit warped. But we do have a solution for that. We're just going to take a little bit of tape. So let's just tape this down a little bit so that it won't move around. Oh, sorry. That's not a good idea to hit the tripod. Okay. And I'm just going to pop my stamp on there. Like so. That looks perfect. Let's just pop the wheel down. There we go. Pick up the stamp. I kind of just flip it around 180. Up. Let's go and ink this up. So this has a kind of a metallic finish, and it's oil-based, this one. Whereas the other ones are water-based finished. So this is different. So that you couldn't watercolor with these because they're oil-based. And they're permanent when they're heat embossed. So you could use them on fabric, for example, and just heat set it. Okay, good. This is a good push. That does look nice. I think I'm just going to go in one more time. I'm just going to have a look here because yes, it's something. Oh, Cynthia prefers the free form. Well, I do like that one as well. We'll do something with that one as well. There we go. So, and I don't have to worry if it's lined up because it is. It's super duper easy. Ah, that's perfect. It looks so, so pretty. I'm just going to quickly clean this off. Super easy as well with a microfiber cloth. So I'm just going to pop that back onto the stamp set because I do lose stamps. Okay. So I've got my little flowers, so which I can place here. They've got a kind of a tropical feel to it, to them. And then I think I'll pop the red one here below, like that. That looks really nice. Yes, I would like to know as well, if Angel, if you ever share your projects. I think I've seen one, but maybe I was mistaken. There we go. Let's just pop some foam tape onto our little floral elements because everything is better with a bit of dimension. And I'm trying to be less messy while I craft. So when I pull these off, I immediately put them into I've got a teeny tiny bucket on my desk to put in all the rubbish. Let me just see. Yes, it does. Oh yeah, I think this is a really summery kind of tropical, gives me also a tropical vibe. I could put a little parrot on there as well, and it would look perfect. There we go. Let's just pop this one on top just to make it a little bit different. There we go. And if you wanted to, you could finish it up with some enamel dots and I don't know, some sequins if you're into sequins, but I don't have a lot of sequins. I know it's such. I think Liz, you're right. I love this collection, and I love that it's kind of fun and laid back, and just go with it and stamp. And like for example, the sentiments, they're like not really straight. So even if you wouldn't have them like straight, because the words are all handwritten, it just makes everything really fun and positive. Just brings a smile to your face, and I think that's Amy Tangerine is all about that. Yes, they do remind me a little bit of the hibiscus flowers as well. So there we go. That's our first little card. So there we go. And I love that about Alter New, Liz, that we've got like the more really classic, very realistic flowers. And then we've got these really kind of fun, funky elements. And it's kind of a good match. You can use whatever you feel like using. There we go. So that's our first card, and I really love this one. This is like, I think this turned out really nicely. There we go. So let's do some more crafting with our lovely supplies. So I thought we might do some more stamping and using our colors, but we will go with some other colors this time. So we've got the Tickled Pink, the Be Grateful, and I don't know if I'm going to use Ride the Wave. I just think it's a big dog, or maybe add a little bit of Easy Breezy. So So I think, I don't know what you think, so you can give your inputs. Would you rather see me use the Ride the Wave with the Tickled Pink and the Be Grateful, or more the Easy Breezy? Tickled Pink is going to be in there, the Be Grateful as well, but I just need you to choose between Ride the Wave or Easy Breezy. Easy Breezy, 1 for Easy Breezy. I just think it lightens it up. This is a bit dark. This is just like gives that little oomph. Yeah, okay. We're going to go with Easy Breezy. We'll use the Ride the Wave maybe a little bit later on. Oh. And I'm wearing shorts and my legs are sticking to my chair. Okay, let's go. So, more cardstock. So I want to show you a very neat technique. I never have enough colored cardstock. So when I'm looking to create my own embellishments, because I want to create my own embellishments, I've got lots of stamps, I never have the right colored cardstock, but I have so many inks. And you can see here in this set, we've got so many inks. So we're going to be using our inks to create some really fun cardstock. So what I do is I just take the ink set and I'm just going to pop that onto my paper. Now, you could use maybe normal, usual white cardstock. I'm just going to use the watercolor paper just because I don't have a lot of white cardstock and I've got lots of watercolor paper. And there we go. I cut a lot of it. It was on hand. Let's go. So Easy Breezy. This is the Tickled Pink, and I'm just gonna kind of add that to my paper. The fun thing with the watercolor paper is that it does have a little bit of fun texture. So it will add like a little bit of interest to our stamps. There we go. It would be a lot smoother if you were working on some smooth cardstock. There we go. I do like that textured look of watercolor paper. And I'm going to do the same. Let me just turn it around. It does dry quite quickly, but I wouldn't kind of smush your hand in it quite yet. I'm going to do the same with Be Grateful. There we go. This is a nice purpley, very dark color. It just has to be large enough so we can pop our stamped image on there. So those are our 2 colors already, and you can see there's still a little bit of wet. So I'm going to leave those to dry. Just going to take another piece of cardstock, and we're going to go with our Easy Breezy. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do the Ride the Wave as well, and we'll just see what works better once we've cut them all out. So let's go. Look at that. It's so pretty. And Ride the Wave, we'll just pop it down below. There we go. That's such a pretty blue. I love it. So if you do have maybe a drying tool, that'd be a good idea. I might just pop them onto my lamp, just 2 seconds. And while we're doing that, once again, we're going to use our little flower stamps. And we're going to create a fun little background for the flowers we're going to create here. So I'm going to be using a Fresh Start stamp set. And so I'm already going to prepare my black ink for stamping the flowers. So for my background, I do want it to be a little bit lighter, a little bit subtler. And because we did use the Easy Breezy, I thought it'd be nice to use the Berry Cool. There we go. So what's fun with this set is that you've got these fun ink splatters. There we go. You can see them there. And we've got these really fun kind of little crosses and little circles. I love these because it kind of reminds me of doodling. Thank you for sharing, Sue. There we go. I don't know which ones I'm going to use. I think I'm going to go with the large or the small. I think I'm going to go with the smaller crosses. There we go. So this time I'm not going to be using the stamp wheel just because I'm going to be doing like very light stamping. So I've just taken a smaller stamping block and I'm just going to add my ink onto there. And I'm just going to add some crosses over my page. There we go. You could do like double stamping and just make them a little bit lighter and go over. We'll just create a fun background. There we go. Just a bit more here on top. And I don't mind if they overlap. I just want to create a background. Add a little bit of detail. Thank you for sharing, everyone. I'm going to leave this stamp set ready to go because I do love all the sentiments on this set. Oh, Cheryl, yes, go back to work. You can always watch this in replay later on if you wanted to. So there we go. So I think our little inks will be dry now. Yes, they're perfectly dry. Oh, the blue isn't dry yet, I think. It's pretty pigmented and it's not dry. But our Easy Breezy is dry, so we'll go with that one anyway. You can still see the blue is a little bit shiny, so it's probably a lot more pigmented and needs a little bit longer to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my floral images on there, and I don't want to mess up my anything. So I'm just going to cut out the Easy Breezy. That way my little blue can dry a little bit longer. There we go. So I'm going to take my stamps once again. I could use my stamp wheel, but once again, I'm going to go for it and just stamp them as such. So I'm going to take the smaller floral elements and I'm going to use my black obsidian ink, pigment ink. I know, Tina, it is awesome, isn't it? So here I've inked it up and I'm just going to pop that onto the Be Grateful. Just give it a good press and there we have it. Not more, not less. I don't know if you can see it a lot on the screen, but you do get the black against the Be Grateful. So that's done. And I'm going to give that stamp a little clean. Pop it back on. And let's go on with the next one. Okay, once again, I'm going to ink it up. There we go. Let's stay here. And there we go. I'm going to go into the Tickled Pink. And that's done. Look at that. And our last one is the larger one. Let's just place it. It fits just perfectly onto the set. So I'm going to give that a little ink up. And pop it onto the Easy Breezy. And just give that a good press. And voila! So pretty. And now we're going to cut them out. And I found my die. Haha. There we go. It was in the set. It just kind of slipped between the trifold paper. So let's add a little bit of tape on top, and we're going to cut them out. So I'm going to use my mini blossom again. So I'm going to cut the paper down so it fits in there. There we go. And here's my first little floral element. So pretty. I love the texture on here. I don't think you can see it that well on the screen, but it does have this lovely texture. So let's just run that through the machine. And I've lost the plate. Well, yes, that's something you would lose easily, wouldn't you? A plate? Let's just get another one. I think I'm going to stand up. It's going to be a lot easier. So let's just pop that on there. Make my sandwich. I don't think you would really need the metal shim here, but I just kind of use it systematically. And then just kind of, there we go. Let's go. I know the vibrancy is amazing. If you're looking for some really vibrant colors, this set is superb. So there we go. You just see how easily that cut out. And this is great because I don't know if you can see the texture on there. It kind of looks a bit like an emerald because it's kind of like, it's got the texture of that, of the watercolor cardstock. I know, Barbara, I always find them, but not necessarily when I need them. For example, now, I don't know where I put the other dies. Always the same problem when I'm crafting. And I've already cleaned up a lot. Oh, they're over here. I've got them. And I found the plate again. They were hiding beneath the background. There we go. So let's just cut these out now. Save the washi tape. So let's pop these back on. So this is the smaller one over here. And this would be great for journaling or even in planners. I think especially these tiny stamps, you can stamp them really, really easily into a planner or into your journal. So really easy and fun to use. And if you're on the road, this is kind of the set I would take with me. I would take 2, 3 of the sets, maybe a journal. I wouldn't need the dies. And then I could journal about my summer vacation. And that would be really easy. Just a couple of inks. And I would go with like kind of the same routine, the same design. And perfect. And I know Amy does that a lot. She takes her supplies with her and she will craft along the way. So I think it was also designed with that in mind. And our last one. And what's fun is that they're really easy to line up as well with the dies. Well, I was saying, let's just stick that down a bit. This one doesn't want to stick. Stick. There we go. Make our sandwich. I remember when my boys were little, they would help me with my die cutting. Oh, wouldn't they make a beautiful paper crown? I think they would look great. I could see myself making a crown with this, kind of going with that kind of Hawaiian look, tropical. I think that would look fabulous. There we go. here is our pink one. And I really do like the effect. You've got this kind of textured effect with the watercolor cardstock that we used. I'm going to put my plates there. So here we have got our lovely little floral elements. I think I'm going to go and just see how I'm going, in which direction I'm going to pop this. There we go. I'll do it a little bit differently now. It's going to make a little 3 cluster like that. And then I'm going to pop my little sentiment over there. So I've got my little stamping block ready, and I'm going to have a little, I know the tape doesn't stick, but I like reusing my tape. So there we go. So I've already used these ones, and I would like to use maybe a sentiment from the A Fresh Start set. I'm going to use this one. It will be okay. Hang in there. Yes, they are, because I was a little bit afraid if I use them on watercolor paper, maybe they won't, like some inks, when you stamp them on watercolor paper, it's all blotchy, or even on maybe textured cardstock. They only work like really well on smooth, but these colors are absolutely top notch. And I'm looking for my black. Oh, it's over there. There are too many inks. So well, there's a bit of ink on the side, and knowing my clumsy self, so I'm just going to stamp it like that. So I'm eyeballing it. It will be okay. And even the black on here, it's you can see the watercolor texture there, but it's still fine. So the obsidian pigment ink works really well on watercolor cardstock as well, so watercolor paper. I really love the sayings on this one as well. We've got be kind, deep breaths. That's something I say all the time to myself. Pursue your passions. Heart is heavy. Sometimes cards express that not everything is okay, and I think that's a good thing as well. Enjoy the little things beyond amazing. Happiness is handmade and a fresh start. Yeah, be kind. There we go. So let's just pop once again. We need our little foam tape for this. This is I think my favorite kind of basic supply. I just said deep breaths this morning. So my students have like a listening exam, so listening comprehension, and I have 3 classes at the same time. So I do listening comprehension in one class, and then I have a reading, and then I jump into the next class and do the listening comprehension, and then I jump to the 3rd class and do the listening comprehension, and then I have a colleague who will like watch them while they do the reading. But I'm always super nervous. I get all panicky because I think I'm going to forget something, that the Bluetooth won't work, that my battery isn't charged. So I just said deep breaths, and usually everything works out fine, and it did. There we go. Look at that, so easy. And it's kind of a variation of this. I mean, the same stamp sets and 2 completely different looks. We've got 1 minute, which is very short, to make a card. But I did want to show you a quick technique, which is I think one of my favorites, and I'm using it all the time now. And this is going to be really quick, so I will show you. So I've got my little floral elements on here, and yes, Initially, I wanted to show you how to create a wreath on the stamp wheel, but that will be for the next time. But I'm just going to take my obsidian black ink, which is somewhere. How can I lose something when I've got nearly nothing on my desk? I mean, oh, it's over there. So I'm just going to take this flower and I'm going to stamp it with some obsidian black ink. So the idea, well, let's just pop some scrap. This is some scrap paper. The idea I had was to create kind of the flowers going all over the edges. So I'm going to start stamping. There we go. So I'm not too worried that it's a bit blotchy. That's going to go with the look. If you wanted to, you could pop maybe a soft pad underneath, and that would help with getting like a smoother finish. There we go. And I'm just going with this groove. I need to get my hands a little clean. Oh, that's not good. Let's go back in. There we go. That easy to line up. See, I just did it. I didn't need an alignment tool. So I'm just going to change the position a little bit. So you can just go over it if it isn't well. Okay. Nearly done. And you'll see this is a really, really quick and easy technique. So I'm kind of twisting it around not to have the same petals all over. I know, Sue. It's because I'm just going with the flow. I'm not overthinking it. Usually I panic. There we go. All done. So we've got this fun little kind of border around our card. And my all-time favorite thing to do at the moment is just to do some kind of line filling. You could go, you could maybe use colored pens, but I'm just going to do it in black. And I'm just going to start adding some lines in here. I'm in my Zentangle era. So I'm just going to do like lines in one direction and then go over in the other direction, and the same here. And it creates this really fun effect. There we go. So I'm going to use the same pattern for all of them, but I'm going to try and switch out the directions of the line so that they're a little bit different. But you could add different, you could go with like little circles in like to fill out your petals, or you could do with like thicker lines and thinner lines. But it's just a really fun way to create like a different look. And if you don't want to have too many colors, or you want to go like a very simple look, this is a great way of adding that. And I'm using the fine liner from Altenew, which is 02 here. You could use the 01, or you could go like with a thick line, a fine line. You could even add another like line to it going in the other direction just to make it look fuller. But I just think this creates such a different look. And if you do like doodling, and this is like this is something I do when have had a really busy day and I just want to, it's something you don't have to overthink. It's just a series of lines. It's that kind of de-stressing element you have when you're doing Zentangle, or when you're just kind of doodling on the end of your page. And I know that when I see my kids like schoolwork, and sometimes on their photocopies, they would kind of, on the edges, they would doodle a little bit. I know some teachers are annoyed, but I don't really mind, because I know that usually when they're doing that it does help them focus with the lesson. So it's just a really fun way. It's so easy. I mean, what? You need black ink, a stamp, and you could do this with any kind of floral image or any image. I've done this with the more fancier ones, and it creates this very fun but almost elegant look as well. And you can get really creative with the designs you put in the center. So I have gone a little bit over time, but I really did want to show you this. And the thing is, even if you do it quickly, it still looks good. Now there's baie mooi. There we go. Wow, nearly done. And then all you have to do is like add your little sentiment, and it's done. So there we have our finished little card. So there you have it. I thought it would just be fun just to create 3 cards. I like the idea of threes. Let's do things in threes. I haven't put a sentiment in there, but you can imagine popping a nice large sentiment in there, like strive for awesomeness. Oh, let's just pop it in there. I'm going to pop the sentiment in there and just get out a larger acrylic block. And I'm just going to go, I'm wondering if I want to pop in a color. I'm just going to go with black. Okay, let's just pop in with black. But I could imagine adding something with a kind of rainbow effect in the middle, like, but I don't have the time for that. But that would look awesome. So let's just give that a good press. Look, I think that just looks, it's just black. It's just some lines. But I think that looks, those are my favorite ones. So quick and easy and beautiful. So I've showed you kind of different techniques on how to use our ink colors here, how to use the different stamps, how to make something quick and easy, very vibrant, more subtle with watercolor. So yes, it would look really well horizontal as well, this one. And I hope you've picked up some nice ideas here and that you're going to try it and maybe go even further with the ideas. If you do, tag me in your creations. If you do post on internet, on Facebook, I would love to see all of your lovely creations with this set, these colors, or another set using these techniques. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this little live session. I did go a little bit over time, but I don't think Altenew is going to be too mad for that. I'm just going to pop you back onto the screen. And sorry for my super red face, but I'm like standing up right now and my lights are really on and really hot. So I'm like sweating now. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I didn't miss any questions. A huge shout out to Angel, who's been behind the badge and popping in all the links. And I can't wait to see you create with all this lovely awesomeness from Amy Tangerine. And I really, if you do have a bit of time to play with the set or get the sets, or maybe just one of the stamp sets, do, because it's such a fun and whimsical and really just, it makes you happy. So there we go. And I love there's quotes on there. They're just a little bit different. They're really uplifting. And there you have it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I had such a blast crafting because I was busy correcting all day. So this was a really nice way just to unwind. And now I'm going to go to bed and start correcting once again tomorrow morning. So thank you everyone for joining me. Keep safe, have a great day, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye, everyone.